Thank you, Chairman Dunn. I know Chairman Rowe had to move on, but I think there were some pertinent comments made by people on both sides that really recognize the jurisdiction between both Veterans Affairs and Armed Services. And I would just love to recommend or ask that it be considered that we do have a joint hearing between Armed Services and Veterans Affairs, because there should be a seamlessness that exists between that active duty, that guard, that reserve service, and somebody moving in to the veteran status. And I think that would be beneficial. I'd love that be considered. So that's a request that I'd like to make to you. I got to pull up my phone a moment now because it timed out, and I took some screenshots of some comments that have been sent to me over time, and I wanted to read some of them. I'm not going to disclose who they are. The hardest adjustment from being a soldier to now being a civilian is realizing that you're all alone. You no longer have battle buddies to lean on. That was one. I'm just struggling with feeling worthless. I know I'm not, but when something does go wrong, it's hard to fight those thoughts. But I've got to retrain my brain and not let those thoughts in my head just because something went wrong. I'm not worthless. I'm a good person with a good heart. I'm a child of God, and I trust He has a plan for me. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. And I'm tired of kidding myself that I can ever be more than that, more than what I was and what I am now. Tired of being a disappointment. I'm not feeling down on myself at all. But honestly, dealing with mental health issues makes me feel like a wimp. I'm not interested in, I was referencing some specific cares that exist out there, some very similar to what have been discussed here today. And a response was, I'm not interested in that. I'll leave that to somebody that's actually worth something. Me, I'm a POS. And that's been proven over and over again. And I have comments that continue more and more and more. And I find, as I deal with this year in, year out, that those friends of mine that are struggling with suicide are constantly struggling with what is their value? What is their worth in this world? What is their worth to us as their friends? What is their value to their family members? What is their value to this world, to their employers? I'm not a medical doctor, and this isn't what I study as my livelihood, but that's what I see across every message and every phone call that I get from a family member or a veteran or a mother that's worried about, her son or her daughter. And so I have a question for all of you. Do you have anything profound or something that I haven't thought about or the panel hasn't thought about to say? How do we make sure that our veterans know their value? Because that's what I see them struggling with.
Congressman Mast, if I can, I've listened to the comments and the questions, and one common thread amongst them, including yours, is the community-based. You can't push purpose from Washington, D.C. down. It's got to come from the community up. The community has an enormous amount. All of your constituents have an enormous amount of ability to reach out and connect to veterans, to bring them up. The fact that 21 million veterans are out there, and that the VA, we know 9.7 million. And when you look at the other veteran service officer organizations that are great, 140,000 veterans post 9/11, but there's 5 million that serve post 9/11. I think the focus is that it's got to be from the community up. How do you empower communities to reach out and give veterans the purpose, give them opportunities to move forward? I think it's got to start there through other resources.
Thank you for the question. I actually want to talk a little bit about what vet centers do in that space. And that is, it starts with outreach. It's going out and finding these kind of individuals. I look at my own experience. I am here today because a vet center counselor wouldn't let me shut my barracks room door on him until I came and talked to him. All I wanted to do was say no, and he helped me say yes. And that's what our outreach workers are doing, and in partnership with communities, going out and creating those connections. It's not about evidence-based modalities at that time. It's about, let's make a connection, a therapeutic relationship. And then from there, once we're connected, how can then we go on and meet whatever your goals are? Now, one of the other things that we're doing within vet centers is that ability to meet an individual while they're on active duty. be that force them, start providing services to them where they meet our eligibility, to help them transition through veteran status into the next part of their life.
My time has expired, but thank you for your comments.